Can't keep my hands to myself. Hands to myself. Can't keep my hands to.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be another story time video. Now I was watching a few of the story times like with Catfish, and I was thinking to myself, I never personally was catfished, but I did catfish someone else with myself, if that makes sense. So I figured I would tell you guys that story. But first of all, I did want to mention that, isn't this scarf so cute? It's actually my husband's. We don't want to let him know, but I was inside the closet like trying to figure out a new scarf to wear with this video, and I saw that and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going anywhere, so shoot, I might as well throw it on, right? Okay, so this was back when Facebook kind of first started. I'd say it was like a year or two into Facebook being out, and this was when it was kind of like exclusive, like you had to literally be going to, I believe, like a high school or a college in order to sign up and make a Facebook account. So I had actually just got accepted to Liberty University, and that's the school where I was going for college. And my sister Christina, my older sister, she had actually helped me to like create a Facebook account. And so she was just like, yeah, you know, this is how you can get in contact with other people who are in your school. And I remember I had actually friended my roommate around that time, and there was also like a couple of guys like who would friend request me, and yes, my husband did too, and he wants to deny it, but I still have the messages where he wrote me like all the way back in April, because we didn't start school till August, but he wrote me all the way back in April, and I was not feeling his profile picture, so I told him I had a boyfriend even though I didn't. But that's like a whole nother story, and if you guys are interested in that, it's in the couples meet my husband tag or something like that. I'll link it below. So around that time I was getting like a few friend requests from other guys who were going to the school or at the school already, and I remember I got a friend request from this boy who was in Baltimore. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, it's pretty close to me, you know. So I had started talking to him, and I remember his profile picture because he had it for a couple years, and his profile picture was like not even the neck, it was like the face, literally the face, and it was like a side profile, so you could never really get like a good description of what his face looked. So if you were like guessing, you could be like, maybe he may look like this. So to me, I was like, it looks pretty okay, you know, whatever. So we were talking on Facebook for a little, like just going back and forth, like friendly chats and stuff like that. And then he was like, oh, let me get your number so that we can talk a little more about Liberty and just like hit up each other when we get to school and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, whatever, cool. So I gave him my number, and I remember he had called that night, and we were talking for, I'd say we talked about like 45 minutes maybe, but it was like, okay, I'm not trying to be mean because like we're still friends now, but it was pretty boring. Like the first conversation was pretty boring to the point where I was just like, I wasn't interested. Like after that conversation, I was just like, you know, I'm really not interested in him. And on top of it, I wasn't looking into trying to really like talk to someone exclusive before I even got to the school in the first place. So I remember he had sent a few pictures over more as well, almost positive this happened. And from that, the other pictures, I was just like, yeah, you know, I kind of friend zoned him from then. So I remember I told my sister about it, and I'm like, I feel really bad because we talked on the phone already for like 45 minutes, and I think he's like interested in me, but you know, I'm not ready or wanting to start any type of exclusive relationship before I get into school. I don't want him to think anything. And so my younger sister at that time, she was 2 years, well, she still is always 2 years younger than me, but she was just like, if you want, I'll just talk to him for you. And I'm like, are you sure, you know? And she's like, yeah, no problem. So whenever he would call me, I would just give the phone to my little sister. Like her stories and the way she talks, she's just such a great like communicator. She should have been like a radio personality or something. So yeah, she ended up talking to him, and when I tell you, she made him think like we were best friends. Now, she never told him that it was her. She always had him thinking it was still me. She was talking to him so much to the point that she actually got on the phone and talked to his mother too. So all this time he's still thinking he's talking to me. He's had her speak to his mom. Even my sister, we were talking about this yesterday, and she was just like, yeah, you know, to be honest, he was kind of boring on the phone, to the point that when the mom got on the phone, she was pretty interested. So yeah, so this went on for about a few months, because this probably started, I'd say May, I want to say May, June, probably more May. So, and school started August. So it went on for a couple months, and I remember when I went to the school, I was thinking, well, you know, I'm not even going to see him anyway because the school has over 10,000 people, so I'm not going to run into him, the odds of it being, you know, like he was, I think, communications and I was in psychology, so I felt like, you know, we'd never see each other. But as fate would have it, my husband, he was a prayer leader, and he was a prayer leader for this boy's dorm. And a prayer leader is kind of like a group of guys or a group of whoever, the group that they gave you, would meet together on Tuesdays for devotions. And my husband was in charge of the group, and he was in my husband's group. So within like 2 weeks of starting school, I actually ran into him. And my husband, I remember, introduced him to me, and he's like, oh yeah, I already know her. You know, we have talked forever. And I'm like, no, you haven't talked to me. And he's like, yeah, I have. We've had these long conversations like he was going on. I'm like, no, you actually spoke to my sister. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this whole time you were talking to my sister, you were never talking to me. And so I had actually showed him who she was, and, you know, like he added her as a friend. And so they became friends as well. But the funny thing is, my sister did come to visit me at college, and I remember he was just like, I can't believe, because he finally got to meet her, and I remember he was like, I can't believe you had me talking to the little sister who's bigger than the big sister. And that was just like hilarious to me, because like my sister is like taller than me and everything. So yeah, but it was so funny, and I feel really bad looking back on it, because he really thought like he was talking to me, but of course he wasn't. He was talking to my little sister. So I guess you could say I catfished him, because at the end of the day he thought he was talking to me, but he wasn't. But overall, like, it's nice to be able to look back on that and laugh, and I'm actually glad I got to meet him in person, because even now to this day he's just a really nice guy. And also him and I were friends afterwards, because I remember one time me and him and my best friend, we ended up sneaking into the cafeteria during a snowstorm because there was no food, and we were just like running everywhere trying to find whatever they could have, and it was closing because they wouldn't let us in, but we still snuck in, and we ended up eating mashed potatoes and ice cream because that was the only thing that was left. But we were like so happy to have that. And then I also remember seeing him like when we were walking by to go to classes and stuff like that, and one time he was walking with his girlfriend and we were across the street, me and my best friend. He actually left his girlfriend and went across the street to say hi to us, and we were like, look, you need to go back to her because she's giving us dirty looks. But yeah, we were just friends. But overall, he was an amazing guy, so nice, so sweet, but definitely feel bad about catfishing him there. So yeah, that was my only catfish experience. I don't believe I was catfish. I don't think anyone has ever used any of my pictures to catfish someone, because I personally don't feel like my pictures are up to that like quality to do that. But that's about it. I will have another story time up really soon, and in fact I think the next story time I'm going to have up is called I Ate Ants. I know it's such a crazy story, but I will have that up really soon for you guys. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs up for more story times, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.